Hello guys, this is Paul McWhorter with TopTechBoy.com, and we are here today with lesson number 41 in our incredible tutorial series where you are learning artificial intelligence on the Jetson Nano. I will need you to pour yourself a nice big mug of iced coffee, no sugar, none needed. I will also need you to pour yourself a nice strong cup of black coffee. When we get into these artificial intelligence lessons, sometimes we need double coffee. Okay, I will need you to get out your Jetson Nano gear, and I will need you to get ready to learn some cool new stuff. I want to pause, as always, and give a shout out to you guys who are helping me out over at Patreon. Your support keeps these great videos coming. You guys that are not helping out yet, look down in the description below. There's a link over to my Patreon account. Think about skedaddling on over there and hooking a brother up. But enough of this shameless self-promotion. Let's jump in and talk about what we are going to learn today. What we learned last week was we learned how to kind of automate our training, our facial recognition training set, where we could just create a folder of known images where we kind of had in the file name the person's name that was in the image, and then we learned how to use the os.walk command where we could just kind of walk through that folder and learn all those faces, and that made things kind of way simpler, that we can adjust what we're training on. We can adjust our training set simply by dropping images into that folder and then using a little savvy as far as using good names on the files. Also, we then kind of walk through the unknown folder and then identify all the people and all the images. And so now we can do some pretty cool stuff just by dropping those images into, dropping the right images into the right folder. Let me get out of your way here and talk to you about what we are going to do today. Now, let's go ahead and we're going to start with the software that we left off in lesson number 40. If you're not very organized and did not save that in a good spot, never fear. I got you covered. You can go to www.toptechboy.com, and then I need you to search on AI on the Jetson Nano lesson 40, and then you can come down here, and with this handy little tab you can click. It selects everything. Right mouse click copy. Okay, and then we're going to come over here and we're going to create a brand new, I believe in Face Recognizer, right? In your Face Recognizer folder, we are going to add a file which is going to be face recognize-4.py. All right, and then enter, and we have ourselves a fresh new Python program, and we're going to come in and we're going to paste that file from last week. So I'm going to paste. Okay, and now I'm going to get this out of your way. Now let's see, where are we here? There we are. I know you guys hate this little picture of the Jetson Nano, my little live view of the Jetson Nano, but I think it's cool. All right, so I will include it. All right, so now this is the program that we left off in lesson number 40, and we kind of import our libraries, and then here what we're doing is we're stepping through our directory of known images, and what we are doing is we're creating the encodings for each one of the known images. The known images have one face in the picture. It finds the face, and then it creates the encoding for that face, and then we end up with a array of the encodings and an array of the names. Okay, so we step through that, and then we step through the unknown folder and compare the encodings of the unknown with the encodings of the known and see where we can find matches. Okay, where we can find matches. Let's see. Yeah, where we can find matches between those two, and then we show the pictures. Let's just make sure for good measure that this thing still runs, and then this thing still works. And then I also want you to kind of notice things. So I'm going to kind of make this bigger down here so you can see what's happening in this program. Darn it, I touched my face. Gotta not touch my face. I'm going to end up with this virus if I keep touching my face. Actually, I'm pretty careful. Are you guys having trouble adapting to this coronavirus business? You know, stay inside, don't interact with people. To be honest with you, that part doesn't bother me very much. I kind of like being on my own. So for some people, this social distancing thing isn't such a bad thing. Some people kind of enjoy it. Okay, but I digress. Let's get back over here. I want you to see what's happening when I run this program. Right mouse click, run Python file in terminal. Okay, so it takes a little bit to load that first library. Remember that face recognizer takes a little bit, but we'll know it's done when it prints out the version on the OpenCV. And then it goes out and it gets the array of the files, but now it's stepping through the file and learning each of the known. So you can see we have, I don't know, what is it, 10, 11 different known people, and it steps through them, each one. Well, what's one of the things that you notice here? It takes a long time to train, and we just have a small number of known. And every time that we run the program, we retrain. What would maybe be a smart thing to do? It might be a smart thing to do to train it one time, save that training data, and then load the training data instead of retraining every time. Okay, does that make sense? Now, it wasn't such a big deal when you just have 10 or 11 images, but what if you wanted to recognize 1,000 people? Then that's going to be kind of cumbersome to have to retrain every time you run the program. So what might make sense would be for us to have a training program, train once, save the training data, and then in our face recognition program, read in the training data, which should go pretty fast. So this is, again, the Donald, and it recognized him. And let's go ahead and just run through this. Recognize Donald again. Recognize Mike Pence, Donald Trump, and Nancy Pelosi. And you can see the bigger images take longer for it to recognize. Mike Pence behind me. Mike Pence. The Donald and Nancy in a picture together, smiling. Kind of unusual. Okay, me and the lovely Miss Chase, one of my former students. Okay, recognized her. I'm really impressed as I'm playing with this. I'm really impressed with how well this works. Mike Pence and Donald Trump. And the kind of neat thing is Nancy Pelosi, we just use one training image for each one of these people, and it's recognizing them in a lot of different situations. And so I'm really kind of surprised by just how well this thing works. Mike Pence, Donald Trump, and Nancy Pelosi. Charlton Heston, one of my all-time favorite heroes. You might not know this, but I got to go to Charlton Heston's house one day and spend the day with him. One of the most gracious men that I had ever known. And, you know, kind of always been my hero as I was growing up. And I always dreamed of getting to meet him. And then one day I got invited to his house to spend the day with him. And the kind of neat thing was of course, I wanted to be professional, so there was no way that I was going to like ask him for an autograph. But after spending all day there, he said, you know, when I do projects with people, I like to have a picture taken so I kind of have a memory book of all of my projects. And so he said, would you mind if I have my picture taken with you? What a gracious man. What a lot of class. Oh, okay. So got the picture taken. And then about a week later, I got this envelope and it had two 11 by 14s of the picture of me with Charlton Heston, and he signed them. What a class act. But I digress. Let's quit out of that. If you don't know who he was in the original Planet of the Apes. He was in the original Ben-Hur. He was one of the greats of the early days of Hollywood. Okay, we'll hit a cue there. I keep digressing with these little personal stories. You probably get tired. So the only error that we found is it identified Donald Trump as Paul McWhorter. So that's kind of the only error that we had in all of these. We would fix that with more training and better training. Okay, we've got Chucky, we have the unknown person, we have Nancy, unknown person, and I think it's this Steny Hoyer, whoever it is, he did not even get recognized as being human, and he did not get a box around his face. Okay, so now we are on this program, and we would like to do a better job. And so before I split it into two programs, I'm going to just get it working in one program. And so what I'm going to do is I need to still go ahead and do the training like I was doing before. There's the training, but then let's save the training data. So what we are going to do is we are going to pickle it. Okay, and Pickle is a really cool feature in Python that just makes it really easy to just pickle up the data and throw it to the disk without worrying a lot about formatting and data structures and everything. It might not be the most efficient thing, but it is the easiest thing. So what we are going to want to do is we're going to say with open. So we're going to open, and now we need to name the file. And if it's not there, it'll create it, but we're going to create a file here called train.pkl. So if we see it on the disk, we'll know that that's our pickle. All right. And then comma, and then we want to do in single quotes WB, which means write bytes. And we're going to open that as F. And so now F is the object that we interact with if we want to write to train pickle or we want to read from train pickle. Now what we're going to do is real simple. We're going to do a pickle.dump. So we are just going to dump what? Our names array into F. And remember, names up here is the names that go with the encodings, and we sort of build it here by adding each name as we step through those files. Okay, so we've dumped the names. What else do you think we want to do? We want to pickle okay, had a little PC foul up there. We want to pickle.dump. Can you guess what we want to dump? We want to dump in code. Those are the encodings to F. All right. And then that would be it. Now, if we run this and want to check this out, what we need to do is we need to go ahead and erase encodings and names so we're not just using what we already trained and we're really testing this. So I'm going to go ahead and say encodings equal nothing, and then I'm going to say names equal nothing. So I blank out those two. Better do the right names, man. Names equal like that. And so now I blanked out the names, I blanked out the encodings. All right. Now what I want to do is read that data back in. So I'm going to say with, just kind of like the opposite of what we just did, with open. Okay. What do we want to open? We want to open train.pkl. And then this time, do we want to write? No, we want to read bytes, RB. Okay, and we're going to open it again as F. And now we just want to do names equal pickle dot load of F. Okay, and then what do we want to do? We want to get our encodings. So we say encodings equal pickle.load F. And that's as simple as that. You don't even have to close anything. You can just do that, and that will be good. Okay, so now we have it, and then we go down and just run the rest of the program. All right. Let's run current unit test file, run Python file in terminal. Sorry for that little glitch of thinking. So this time it's going in its training. Let's see if we can see this a little better. Okay, so it's beginning to train. And then after it trains, it will pickle it. So you see, we're getting to something that we could create. By doing this, we could create a huge training set. And if we have to let it run overnight to train, we let it run overnight to train, and then we've got it pickled. And then if we want to do recognition, we just load that file. Whoa, pickle is not defined. What is this nonsense, pickle is not defined? Where are we? In line 25. What did I do? Pickle. Ah, do I need to load something to make the pickle work? I don't think I need to load anything. Yes, I do. Forgot to import the pickle. Sorry about that. Import pickle. I thought that was part of the operating system, but I need to import pickle. And now I can right mouse click and run Python file in terminal. Okay, let's see, is this running now? I think we're loading. I need to make it where it's a little bit further up so you can see that a little better. I think it's probably loading that face recognition library. Seems like an awkwardly long time here. I guess that did not run, so let's try this again. Right mouse click, run Python file in terminal. Now it's running. Okay, I might have just didn't click on that exactly right. Looks happy so far. Training up the database. Okay, looks like it's working. I'll just go through a couple of these and then see if I can just really kill it. Okay, I'm going to try to kill it here with the little trash can. Let's see if that works. All right, looks fairly happy. All right, so now what do we want to do? Well, we want to do the encodings. Now I got to save this j equals 0 because we use that later on. But I am going to get rid of these. Okay. Let's see, I'm going to save this as just... I hate to change the way my naming is going, but I'm going to call this read recognize, because that's descriptive. Okay, so this is going to be read recognize, and then I'm going to create a new one, a new file, and we're going to call this train save.py. Okay, so I've got let's do train save.py. All right. And so what we're going to do is we are going to come into this program, kind of where we left off, and we're going to do the train save first. So we are just going to get all of this stuff, and we'll figure out later what we need, okay? But we're going to do the training, and then we are going to pickle, okay? We are going to do the training, and then we are going to pickle. So I'm going to say copy, and then I'm going to come over here to train save, and I'm going to say paste. Okay, so let me get this where you can see it better. So let's see here. We load these things in, and then I don't need on this one the j equals 0. We initialize our array, we train it, and then we pickle it. So let's go ahead and save that. Okay, so I'm going to save. And then over here on read recognize, I need that j equals 0, but all this training I'm not going to do. Okay, and then I'm not going to pickle dump it. All right, I do need that j equals 0. All right, and then I'm just going to start by loading the training data. Now I just want to make sure that this works, and so I'm going to see if I can find that Pickle file. I'm not exactly sure where that is going to put it, but it's certainly probably going to be in our desktop and probably in our PyPro folder, and then train Pickle. There it is. So let's delete this. Okay, so let's delete this, move to trash, so that we're starting with no training data just to make sure that we are not cheating. And then what I want to do is I'm going to just try to run read recognize now. Now tell me what's going to happen when I run read recognize. It's going to crash because it's not going to find the Pickle file, but that will just show me that in fact there is no training data there. Okay, could not find train Pickle. It errored out like we thought it would. Now we're going to come over to train save, and we're going to run it, run Python file in terminal. It should be happy if I'm thinking about this right. Okay, it is going through and it is doing the facial recognition. Okay, so it should be trained. Now if we come over to face recognize and we run it, it should run a lot quicker because it doesn't have to train. We still have to wait the 30 seconds or so for it to load face recognizer, but that's a small price to pay for what a wonderful program we have here. Let's see. It's loading U10. Okay, there it is. There's the Donald. There's the Donald. Mike Pence, Donald Trump, Nancy Pelosi. Big file is coming up, and so it takes a while to do it. That's the Mike Pence hiding behind me. We'll let this go on through. Donald and Nancy, Paul and Chase. Waiting on... I touched my face again. I got to stop that. Mike Pence, Donald Trump, Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi. Donald Trump, Nancy Pelosi, Mike Pence. Charlton Heston, the one, the only, and Ronald Reagan. Two of my really favorite people. I never got to meet Ronald Reagan. I met some presidents, but I never met him. He came along before I really was, you know, a known person. Okay, and again, the error with it thinks the Donald is Paul McWhorter. All right, so we have made it through our training. Okay, are you guys seeing the power of this now? You guys could go out and just get, oh, I forgot we had one more. You guys could go out and just get this incredible large number of pictures to train on. Now, what's the key? You need a good picture of someone, and you need, for the training, one person in the picture. So if you're training, you just need one face in the picture. It needs to be a pretty good picture, and then you need to name it with that person's name. The file needs to be named with that person's name, and then you just dump them into that known folder, and then you can train it up, you can pickle it, and then you can just do all of this great facial recognition. I think this is pretty cool, and it just seems to me like this is getting more and more fun every week. Are you guys having as much fun with this as I am? I never imagined that for a couple of $100 for a system, the Nano with all of the bells and whistles, that I could be doing something like this in developing applications from scratch. And the other neat thing is, don't forget we've got those GPIO pins on the Jetson Nano, so we can do things based on what we see and who we see. So we can start at some point connecting those GPIO pins to other devices and start kind of interacting with the outside world. Okay, you guys remember, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, when you subscribe, make sure you ring the bell so you'll get notifications of future lessons. And then again, man, guys, really appreciate your help on Patreon. Okay, this is Paul McWhorter with TopTechBoy.com. I will talk to you guys later.